And welcome to another rendition of Marisa's Nubian romance novels. So we are back with Them Zeve's Daughters. We are going to read chapters 3 and 4. So on Wednesday, we began Them Zeve's Daughters with introducing you to the characters. So you met Eve, you met her daughters, Samantha, Camille, Pandora, and Jolene. And you heard a little bit about the history. It started all with Samantha giving birth. And so with that, we are going to see what happens. Remember, after the giving birth piece, Eve went to the closet to get her rifle to protect her daughters. So we're going to see what happens in chapter 3 and 4. Have mercy, Don Paul thought. He said to himself as he watched Eve walk by. Hey, boy! Hey, boy! What did you say? Nothing, Paul. Nothing. Didn't sound like you didn't say nothing. What you looking at that there gal like that for, boy? You know she ain't your kind. I ain't looking at her, Paul. Don Paul soon found himself lying on the ground. Don't you ever lie to me, boy. I heard what you said. You look at her like you want her for life. You look at her like you want to make her a part of the family. Now, you wouldn't go and do a fool thing like that now, would you? No, Paul, Don Paul said as he picked himself up from the ground and wiped at the blood running down his lip. Them there gals ain't good for nothing but doing it night. Don't you ever let me see that look in your eye again, boy, or else you won't have an eye. You hear me, boy? Yes, sir, Paul. I hear you. Now, you go on down yonder to the tater field and pull up them taters. I expect to see 3 or 4 rolls picked by the time I get back. And bring some corn home for your mama and put it on the back of the porch. I'm gonna go on over there to Beckley for a spell. You tell your ma I said I'll be back by dinner time. You hear me, boy? Yes, sir, Paul. I heard you. And don't be standing there looking like no sissy neither. I declare you about as soft as your mama. Suck it in, boy, and act like a man, Mr. Pearson demanded as he looked at Don Paul with disgust before he got in his truck and drove away. Don Paul watched his father drive down the dirt road as he walked toward the field, fighting back his tears, telling himself not to cry. Don't you do it, Don Paul. Don't you be no sissy. You gonna be a man, he told himself. You gonna be a man. Don Paul entered the barn and reached for the potato sack. I'm so sick and tired of you, Paul. I don't know what to do. You gonna raise your hand to me one day and it's gonna be your last, he declared as he secured the potato sack around his waist. Now, what you gonna go and do a fool thing like that for? Don Paul turned around quickly and saw Eve standing firmly with her hands on her hips. Eve, he called her name light as a feather. Eve walked toward him and caressed his face. Oh, look at my poor baby. Don Paul picked her up in his arms, and she planted kisses all over his face. How's that? Does that feel better? Does that feel better, baby? Everything is always better when I'm with you. I love you, Eve. Don Paul picked her up and kissed her passionately. I want you every minute of the day, baby. I can't stop thinking about you, Eve. I knew you was coming, girl. I could smell you before you even got down the road. Now that right there, that's some kind of love. When a brother, your man, can smell you before you even get there. Ow! That's what I'm talking about right there. Tuned in. He's tuned in. But you gotta, Don Paul, she said, holding him tightly. Your daddy gonna skin you alive if you don't. You gotta stop looking at me the way you do. And you especially gotta stop fending for me when your friends say something wrong against me. You know they only doing it to make you mad. You know they ain't gonna do nothing but run and tell your daddy. Don Paul didn't hear Eve's words. All he cared about was being in her arms. Don Paul, baby, listen to me. I hear you, Eve, he said, setting her to her feet and unhooking the potato sack from his waist. Eve looked deep into his warm and loving green eyes. She knew he wanted her just as much as she wanted him. Eve began to undress slowly before him. Don Paul stood back and admired her figure as her dress dropped to the ground. Girl, I ain't never, ever seen anyone as lovely as you. Never, he said, walking toward her. Don Paul picked Eve up, carried her toward the bale of hay, and laid her gently upon it. I miss you, Don Paul. She kissed him tenderly and wrapped her legs around his waist to pull him closer to her. Not as much as I missed you, Eve. Girl, you don't even know. I'll take 1,000 beatings for you, Eve. 1,000, he said, laying upon her and taking her to ecstasy. Margaret, Margaret, where you going? Thomas called to his sister in a loud whisper. Margaret continued walking briskly away from the barn. Margaret! What? She snapped. Why are you leaving? What you mean, why am I leaving? I don't want to see Don Paul doing no nigger whore, Thomas. Well, what you fixing to do? I'm gonna tell his daddy. That's what I'm getting ready to do. What that black heifer got on me, Thomas? Thomas looked at his sister and then thought about Eve. Margaret slapped Thomas in the face. Now what you gonna go and do a thing like that for? He said, rubbing the side of his face. You think he's beautiful too, don't you? I'm so sick and tired of being compared to that black heifer. I could scream. That's all I hear. Eve this and Eve that. You men act like she's the best thing since sliced bread. Even his own daddy talk about her figure and how pretty she is, that old nasty dog. I've heard him talking about her. He was talking about her yesterday. How he'd like to get his hands on her. He know Don Paul doing her. Where you hear that at? You been listening in on Daddy? Margaret didn't answer. Instead, she turned from her brother and continued on her way down the dirt road. Margaret, Thomas said, pulling his sister by her ponytail. Ouch! Answer me, girl. You been down at the barn? Margaret, you know if Daddy catch you, he gonna whoop the skin off your back. Margaret burst into tears. Thomas pulled his sister to him and comforted her as best he could. Now, sis, now, don't start all that. Well, what am I supposed to do, Thomas? Don Paul don't love me. He loves Eve. He don't want to marry me. He want to marry her. Now hush that talk. You know he gonna marry you. Yeah, 'cause he got to, Thomas, not 'cause he want to. He don't never look at me like he look at her all soft like. He looks at me like I'm nothing. Like I'm nothing at all. Hell, she's the one who's nothing. She's a nigga. I'm what? He's supposed to want me over her. Now, sis. Come on now. Calm yourself. It'll be all right. I don't understand, Thomas. I declare he'd be seen in public with her, and he wouldn't give it a second thought. But he won't even give me the time of day. He won't walk down to the Piggly Wiggly with me. Well, I've had enough of him rubbing that black heifer in my face. Now, Margaret, I don't like that look in your eye. What you fixing to do? I told you already what I'm getting ready to do. I'm going to tell his daddy, but I'm going to add a little something to it. Add something to it? Something like what? Hit me. What? Hit me. Margaret, I ain't going to raise my hand to you. What you want me to go and do something foolish like that for? I ain't gonna hit you. I need a black eye, Thomas. I'm gonna tell his daddy he hit me over Eve. That'll teach him. I don't know about that, sis. I think you about to start some mess. I don't think that's gonna be a good idea. If you don't do it, Thomas, I'm gonna tell Daddy you stole that money out of his pants pocket. He beat Mama for it instead of you. I'm gonna tell him just as sure as I'm, was all Margaret could say before she found herself laying upon the dirt road. Well, Jesus, Thomas! I'm sorry, sister, you scared me. You done busted my lip, too. Oh, my God, Thomas, I'm bleeding. Jesus, Margaret, I'm sorry. Oh, Lord, no, here come his daddy, Thomas said, looking down the road. Oh, no, Thomas, I thought he said he was going over to Beckley. Margaret, don't do this. Girl, don't do this. Mr. Pearson gonna kill him for sure. You don't want him dead, do you, Margaret? Margaret felt vengeance as she thought about Don Powell making love to Eve. She knew he would never take 1,000 lashings for her. Margaret! Suddenly, Margaret began screaming uncontrollably and dashed away from Thomas toward Mr. Pearson's car, causing him to have to slam on brakes. Gal, you plumb out of your mind. What you doing? What in the world happened to you, gal? You're bleeding. It was Don Powell, Mr. Pearson. Didn't you see him up the road? He had to run right by you. What you mean, gal? Look at my face. Mr. Pearson looked at Margaret's red face and busted lip. His instincts told him that she was lying. He knew his son would never raise his hand to another human being, let alone to a woman. But the part about Eve, he didn't question. Say you saw him doing what, gal? They was doing it in the barn. You know, Margaret said with lowered eyes. You see it too, boy? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He was humping her like nobody's business. They was kissing, and her legs was all wrapped around his back. Yeah, he was doing it to her. He was doing it real good. I seen it with my own eyes and heard them moaning and groaning, Mr. Pearson, with my own ears. They was doing it right down yonder, right there, sure enough. That lucky bastard, Mr. Pearson said to himself. He knew Eve was the best looking woman around them parts of Mississippi, black or white, and he knew she was only going to become more beautiful as she grew older. He had seen her grow from a child and knew that she would truly make his son a man. But she was a black woman, and they lived in the heart of Mississippi. And if he couldn't have his mistress in peace, then his son wouldn't have the woman he loved either. Mr. Pearson, what you gonna do about Don Powell and Eve? Mr. Pearson, my daddy ain't gonna stand for none of this. He ain't gonna tolerate it. You hear me? Oh, girl. Just calm yourself. Which way did they go? Margaret and Thomas pointed in opposite directions. Mr. Pearson put his head down. Lord, they both lying. Lord have mercy. You sure my boy did that to your face, gal? Mr. Pearson saw Thomas casually put his right hand behind his back. What you doing there, boy? What's that? What you got there? Nothing, sir. Something wrong with your hand? No, sir. Let me see it, he said, taking a step toward Thomas. Margaret stepped in front of her brother. Why, Mr. Pearson, you act like you don't even believe us and we decent white people. It's that Eve you should be getting after, not us, Margaret said, intervening on her brother's behalf. You sure my boy did this to you, Margaret? 'Cause you know what's fixing to happen to him. Margaret felt a shiver go down her spine. She knew Don Powell was in a world of trouble, yet she played out her story even though she knew Mr. Pearson was about to beat Don Powell an inch of his life. Yes, sir. I'm sure he did it. He did it. Get in, he said with disgust as he walked to his side of the car and slammed the car door shut. Both Margaret and Thomas looked at one another. Well, get in! Margaret and Thomas leaped inside of the car. Where your daddy at, gal? At home, I think. Here, put this here handkerchief on your lip, gal. Thank you, Mr. Pearson. I declare, I don't know why he hit me. I swear, he hit me before I even knew it. Can you imagine that? Him preferring that black heifer over me. Mr. Pearson didn't answer Margaret. In fact, he didn't even look in her direction. He hated the fact that Margaret was going to be in his family, but he owed her father a debt that he repaid with his son's future by having to marry Margaret. Damn, she's ugly. I don't rightly remember her being this hurt. Seems like she getting more and more hurt as the time goes by. Lord, if they have kids, please let them look like Barbara Jean. Please, he prayed silently. Don Paul, baby, snap out of it, his mother, Barbara Jean, said with urgency as she entered his room and looked at her son, gazing. Yes, ma'am, he said, barely paying her any attention as he reflected of his afternoon of lovemaking with Eve. You been with that gal, boy? Your daddy and Bubba, they coming to kill you. What you hit Margaret for? She said you hit her. Mrs. Pearson said quickly, shoving clothes in a suitcase for her son. What you talking about, Ma? I ain't even seen Margaret today. Mama, what you doing? Don Paul asked, sitting up in his bed. Get on, Don Paul. He coming to kill you for sure now. Put your running shoes on, boy. Lily Mae done sent word and said for you to leave. Said you knocked Margaret down plumb off her feet over Eve. What? Mama, you know that's a lie. I ain't hit Margaret. Don Paul said, suddenly realizing the urgency of the situation. I know it, son, and Lily Mae know it too. She said she think that no good Thomas did it, but they coming for you just the same. He gonna kill you, boy. I'm about tired of him whooping up on you, but ain't nothing I can do about it. Lily Mae said they been down at that barn drinking shine and they good and drunk. You gotta go, Don Paul, hurry. But Mama, I can't leave you here all alone with him. Hell, he gonna kill you one day too. Don Paul, get on. I can take care of myself, boy, Mrs. Pearson said, shoving him out of his bedroom. Here, take this here, she said, offering him some cash. I want you to go down to my sister's house and wait for me there. I won't be too far behind you. You travel down by the creek, Don Paul, you hear me? And for heaven's sakes, watch out for the water moccasins. You hear me, son? But Mama, what do you mean? You and Aunt Captain May ain't spoke since I was a little boy. Oh, no. That was just for show. That was just for show for your daddy. Me and my sister talk all the time. We did it that way. So when I was ready to leave, your daddy would never even think of coming to look for me there once I was ready to leave. I'm just trying to get you through high school, boy. Then you on your own if you don't want to come with me. Now, we wasting time standing here talking, son. Get on. Do you hear me what I say, Don Paul? Move! Don Paul took the money and embraced his mother as if he was seeing her for the last time. I love you, Ma. I love you, Mama. I know you do, baby, and I love you too. Be careful, son. Stay close to the creek. Stay low. Stay low. Watch out for the water moccasins. Watch out for them, baby. Barbara Jean begged as she pushed him out the back door. Barbara Jean stood at the back door and watched her son run toward the woods. Run, baby. Run, Don Paul. Run. Just as Don Paul reached the edge of their property, a shot was fired, and Barbara Jean watched her son collapse to the ground. Lord have mercy! Don Paul! Barbara Jean screamed as she dashed out the back door and leaped off the porch. Just as Barbara Jean was in reach of her son, she felt a pain shoot through her leg, causing her to collapse to the ground too. Well, goddamn, Tommy Lee. Man, you done went and shot your own wife and son. If I wasn't here to see it for my damn self, I wouldn't believe it. Now what you go and do a fool thing like that for, Tommy Lee? You know good and well Don Paul ain't hitting my Margaret. Mr. Pearson didn't say anything. All he did was spit out his tobacco juice and walk toward his wife, who was desperately trying to crawl to her son. Don Paul? Baby? Don Paul, you alive? Don Paul? God almighty, Tommy Lee. I ain't fixing to have no parts in this here mess right here. Help her, Tommy Lee. Don't stand there and let her bleed to death. Don Paul, boy, you all right? God almighty, Tommy Lee. You touch her or my son, Bubba, and I'll shoot you too, Mr. Pearson said calmly. Bubba froze in his steps. He didn't doubt that Mr. Pearson wasn't crazy enough to live up to his word. Plus, he was drunk. They gotta learn, Tommy Lee, the both of them, who's the man around here. Now tell me this, Bubba. How you suspect she knew we was a-comin', huh? I bet by the time I'm through with her and him, they gonna do as I say. They been getting out of line lately. I ain't gonna kill them. But you need to go home and teach Lily Mae a thing or two. You need to teach Lily Mae about minding folks' business, Bubba. Bubba looked at Mr. Pearson. I ain't gonna shoot my wife, Tommy Lee. Suit yourself. They ain't nothing but flesh wounds no way. They both more scared than anything. Aw, look at them crawling to each other. Ain't that about a sight? Ha ha, he said, laughing. Bubba looked at him. He looked at Margaret and Blank and Don Paul. Yeah, right. Well, you gone. and tend to your family business, Tommy Lee. I'm going on home. I don't want no parts of this here. Suit yourself, Mr. Pearson said, spitting as he slung his rifle over his shoulder and watched the pitiful sight of his wife and son huddling together on the ground like two scared children. Leave her be, boy. But, Pa, she bleeding. Who you raising your tone to? I'll kill you, boy, just as soon as I look at your sis ass. I said, let her go. Barbara Jean, you wasn't trying to help him get away from me now, was you? Huh? Was you, Barbara Jean? Nah, you wouldn't go do something as stupid as that, now would you? You leave my boy be, Tommy Lee. Leave him be? Nah, I can't leave him be, Barbara Jean. He done beat poor Miss Margaret pert near to death. Made her uglier than she already was. And I'm supposed to leave her be? You know he ain't lay a hand on that trash. You yelling at me, girl? You raising that tone? Gal, I'll put my foot so far down your throat, it'll come out through your behind. You forget who you talking to, gal? I'm tired of you, Tommy Lee. I'm tired of you beating up on my boy. You mean and downright hateful. I hate the day I ever laid down with you. I wish Don Paul was never born. I should have flushed him down the outhouse. I would have rather him be in the arms of God than to have been raised by the likes of you. Mr. Pearson felt a rage growing inside of him that he had never felt before. Barbara Jean had never raised her voice or spoken to him in this manner, in this much defiance. Yeah, from time to time, she tried to voice her opinion about one thing or another, but he knocked her off her feet before she could ever get all of her words out. Say one more word, Barbara Jean, and I'm going to blow your head clean off your shoulders. One more word. May the good Lord forgive you, Tommy Lee. Mr. Pearson cocked his gun. One more word, Barbara Jean. I'm going to keep my promise. You know I'm a man of my word, gal. You ain't fit to be nobody's husband. You ain't fit to even be nobody's daddy. You ain't fit to breathe the air you do. You ain't nothing but a creature from hell, Tommy Lee. I wish you'd do all of us a favor and just go back. Just die, Tommy Lee. Just die. You trying me, gal? One more word. I ain't scared of you. You ought to be, gal, 'cause I'm fixing to kill you. Mr. Pearson slowly squeezed the trigger. Don Paul jumped in front of his mother. Paul, no! Move, boy! I'm gonna beat the life out of you next. I'm gonna kill your mama now. I said move, boy! Move, Don Paul! Barbara Jean pushed her son out of the way and rose to her feet. Go ahead and kill me. I'd rather meet my maker than spend another minute looking at your sorry tail. You ignorant, you ugly, you stupid. You just don't want Don Paul to have Eve because you want Eve for yourself. I seen the way you look at that child. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You got chillins running all over town, all in Beckley, all black. Yeah. You think I don't know? The darker they is, the better for you. You lay with them dead black gals every night, and you wonder why your son want one of them too? Huh? He can't help himself. It's in his blood. Your daddy had them black gals. Your granddaddy had them black gals. You just scared he gonna give you some competition. He damn sure a sight better looking than you. Barbara Jean, gal, after I shoot your head clean off of your shoulders, I'm gonna find what's left of your tongue and I'm gonna tie to the bottom of my shoe. Mama, please don't say nothing. He gonna kill you, mama. Get on, Don Paul. I've had enough. Enough is enough. I should have did this here a long time ago. Big Barbara Ann told me you like it rough. She told me to pick up something and knock you in the top of your head. Big Barbara Jean said, as she stood tall feeling liberated from Tommy Lee, yeah, you didn't think I knew about Big Barbara Ann, did you, Tommy Lee? Yeah, I know all about you and her. You was gonna leave me and my son for that big black heifer, but she wouldn't have you. You was gonna take her up north, wasn't you? You was gonna leave me and my baby here to fend for ourselves, wasn't you? Yeah, she told me what you were gonna do. Said she didn't believe you was a man no more because you was gonna leave your family. After that, she didn't want you no more. Yeah, you think I didn't know that, Tommy Lee? Mr. Pearson's body began to shake, and he aimed the barrel of his rifle in the middle of his wife's head. Just as he squeezed the trigger, he felt a pain shoot through his arm and exit out of his chest. He fell to the ground. Don Paul and Barbara Jean didn't move. They stared in amazement as they looked up and saw Eve picking herself up from the ground because the kickback from the rifle threw her off balance. Mr. Pearson rolled over and saw Eve standing over him. You nigger gal, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna string your black ass up to a tree. Help me, Barbara Jean. Don Paul, help me, son. Nobody moved an inch in his direction. Don Paul, baby, you all right? Oh my God, you bleeding. Oh my Lord, Eve said with tears streaming down her face as she embraced him. Don Paul held her tightly. Eve, what you doing here? Baby, these folks catch you over here around these parts, girl. They gonna string you up. He was fixing to shoot your mama. Mrs. Pearson looked at Eve. This was the first time she had been close enough to really get a good look at her. She is beautiful. Wonder why all the pretty gals is across them tracks. Wonder if they got something in they water we don't over here. Barbara Jean watched how lovingly her son held Eve in his arms and knew his love for her would never ever go away. Go home, Eve. I ain't seen you do nothing, gal. Gone home. But Mama, he knows she shot him. Tommy Lee drunk, Don Paul. He ain't seen nothing by the time I get through with him. Take her on now before folks start coming. You know Bubba can't hold water. Here, tie this round your leg. Eve, you know you can't be with my boy in the daytime, don't you? I ain't gonna have them crazy white boys hanging my son up from a tree beside you just because he in love with you. I understand y'all in love and all, but it just ain't never gonna happen for y'all like you want it to. You can have him at night, but he is gonna marry Margaret. Too much done happened now for him not to. You hear me talking to you, gal? Yes, ma'am, Eve said, trying to control her tears. It ain't gonna be all so bad, child. He gonna be with you mostly anyway. You the one he loves, Eve. You the one gonna bear his chillin' while he making love to you. He gonna take care of you. You know that. It's done around here, these parts all the time, ever since the beginning of time. All he got to do is give Margaret one baby, just one baby, and he ain't never got to touch her no more. You can still have him, gal. It just can't be in the open, rubbing your relationship in decent white women's faces. You just can't. Now, get on. You do as I say now. Go on. Mama, what about Paul? You leave your Paul to me, Don Paul. Now you get that gal out of here before folks start coming. Do you hear me what I say, boy? Get on! Don Paul took Eve by the hand and they ran toward the creek. As Don Paul picked Eve up in his arms to help her over the thick vines, they heard a shot. Don Paul! Don Paul didn't miss a step. Don Paul! I hope she sent him straight back to hell, was all he said as he forgot about the bullet lodged in his leg and quickened his pace, carrying Eve securely in his arms to their secret hiding place. Now, we're getting ready to read our final chapter for the night, chapter 4. Oh, hey, Amani. Oh, bless your heart. It's one of my students. Oh, all right, Samantha, get a move on. You ain't got all day, Eve said, coming into her room and opening the curtains wide, letting in the bright sunlight. She was relieved when 4 months had passed without incident. She knew in her heart that Don Paul was the main reason for it. Come on here, girl. School is waiting on you. Samantha moved slow. Move it. You ain't got all day. Samantha was reluctant to go to school because this would be her first day back after giving birth to her son Solomon, and she was dreading it. She knew her classmates talked about her, and she had even heard that some of her classmates' parents told them to stay away from her because she was now spoiled, that no decent man would ever have her. Samantha, you sitting there worrying about rumors ain't gonna make the day come and go no quicker, baby. Breakfast is sitting on the table. Come on now, get a move on. Samantha sat on the edge of the bed and peeped over the crib at her son. It amazed her how he slept so soundly through everything. They don't know nothing anyway, Solomon. They all stupid, she said, caressing his thick curly locks. Samantha left her room, showered quickly, and dressed. She knew her mother was right. This would be the worst of the days, and she knew she couldn't avoid it. So she may as well go ahead and get it over with. Girl, ain't you dressed yet? Eve asked, coming back into her room. Eve looked at her daughter and knew part of her was afraid to go to school, and the other part didn't want to leave her son. It's all right, honey. You just hold your head up high and ignore the ignorance. You made a mistake and you taking care of it. That's a lot more than some folk have ever done. You ain't done nothing to be ashamed of. Women do it every day. You just don't make it no habit. Now you hear me. Samantha chuckled. Yes, Mama, Samantha said, giggling. Thank you, Mama. I love you. I love you too. Now you know Solomon's gonna be just fine. Now remember, Samantha, don't you go to school looking for blame. Please leave that boy alone. Please. I understand, Mama. I won't. Good girl. Now come on, get some hot food in your stomach before the bus comes. Just as they were about to leave the room, Solomon poked his head up from the crib and whimpered. Hey, little man, Samantha said, embracing him. You go eat. I'll change him. Go on, Samantha, girl, if you missed that bus. Yes, ma'am. All right now, class. All right. Settle down. Settle down. Today, we're going to begin with the test on ratios. Oh, man, a student complained. Quiet, quiet. If you all studied more and played less, you wouldn't be complaining about no quiz. Now, please remove all the books from your desk and... No, she didn't come back to school. You're late, Miss Hairston, Mrs. Long said, looking at Samantha with distaste as she came through the door. Beg my pardon, Miss Long, but I was speaking with the principal. He gave me a note to give to you. Samantha offered her the note. Mrs. Long looked at it and at the school pass with disgust. Lay it there, she said with distaste as she pointed to the corner of her desk with her sharp eyes. Take your seat, Miss Hairston. Samantha looked at her briefly, then took her seat. Miss Hairston, today you will be excluded from this test, because you've been absent. But this gonna be your last time. She talking too. Samantha thought to herself, I can take the test, Mrs. Long. Mrs. Long batted her eyelashes quickly. Pardon me? I can take the test. I'm not behind in my schoolwork. I had a homebound teacher, and I'm caught up on everything. Haven't you received it? Samantha stated with a slight attitude. Again, Mrs. Long merely looked at her. That's fine with me, Miss Harrison. But don't you go complaining when you flunk. And just what makes you think I'm a flunk, Mrs. Long? Ooh, no, she didn't question her like she grown, one student whispered to another. Miss Harrison, I'll remind you that I'm the adult in this room. Then you ought to act like one, Samantha said to herself. Remove your books from your desk, Miss Harrison. You may take the test. Samantha removed her books from the desk and withdrew a pencil from her pocketbook. Mrs. Long passed out the test and told the students they had 20 minutes to complete it. Samantha reviewed the test and sucked her teeth. Shoot, she giving me grief over this mess right here. Man, please, she said to herself as she mentally worked out the math problems with ease. Samantha completed the test before her peers and had 10 minutes to spare. She took it to Mrs. Long. Did I ask you to bring this to me? She snapped, pushing the test away from her, causing it to fall to the floor. Samantha looked at Mrs. Long, then looked at the test on the floor. Pick it up. Samantha felt her blood begin to boil. I said, pick it up. Instead of following Mrs. Long's instructions, Samantha returned to her seat. Oh, no, she didn't ignore her, another student whispered. Shoot, she the one who pushed it to the floor. Why should Sam have to pick it up? She ain't do nothing. We always take our tests to the desk when we through. Miss Harrison, did you hear me? Yes, ma'am, I heard you. Why should I have to pick it up when you knocked it to the floor? We always bring our tests up to you when we finish. We always lay them on the desk. Oh, so you think you grown just because you had a baby? You think you don't have to listen to me no more? You think you grown, little girl? Nothing of the kind, Mrs. Long. You the one acting out, not me. The entire class began to buzz with conversation. Girl, I will knock you out of that desk, Mrs. Long said, standing firmly to her feet. Yeah, you and who else? Samantha asked, standing to her feet just as defiant. I wish you would put your hands on me. Get out of my class, you little itch. Get out. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're disgusting. Walking around town with that half-breed baby on your hip like you got something to be proud of. Get out of my classroom, girl, Mrs. Long said, pointing toward the door. Half-breed baby? Did you just call my son out of his name? Let me tell you something, you old witch. You wish you had any kind of baby to walk around town with on your hip. You would give anything to be in my shoes. That's your problem, ain't it? You ain't got no babies, can't have no babies. Your husband got babies over in Madison County, and he gonna leave you for a woman over there in Beckley. Everybody already know it. Now that's what I call a shame. And as far as you knocking me out of my seat, old woman, I wish you would try it. Try it. Come on, Samantha said, slowly walking towards Mrs. Long, ready to defend her child. Don't you ever as long as you got breath in your body. Call my son out of his name again. And me neither, for that matter. I'll show you a itch. You dried up old wishing you had a baby, can't keep her husband from laying every woman in town and spending your money on him while he doing it too. Huh? You want to knock me off my feet? You want to knock me out of my seat? Well, here I am. I dare you. Here I am. Do it. Ooh. Mrs. Long was afraid. As she looked into Samantha's eyes, she saw Eve staring back at her. She knew if she laid one finger on Samantha, she would have to deal with Eve, and that was something she didn't want to do. She knew everything Samantha had just said was true, and she knew it was common knowledge. Yeah, she was jealous of her and every other mother in town too. But most of all, she looked in Samantha's eyes and remembered the whooping Eve put on her 15 years ago. A whooping she ain't never forgot. Get out of my classroom, Miss Hairston, Mrs. Long said, casually stepping back from Samantha. Samantha knew at that point she had won because she could see the fear in her math teacher's eyes. She had seen her mother in action many times and knew just how to emulate Eve's actions and her attitude. The class was on pins and needles, waiting to see what else Samantha was going to do. Yeah. You better pick up my paper and grade it right, old woman. I'll be sure and tell my mama just what happened in here today, too. Yeah, I'm sure you don't want to have to tangle with her again. Mrs. Long almost dropped in her seat. Samantha sashayed back to her desk and retrieved her books. I'd much rather be at home with my son anyway. Oh, and Mrs. Long, for the record, my son has a name, and his name is Solomon, and you better not ever call him anything other. You hear me? Samantha didn't wait for a response or a nod or a gesture. She left the classroom and slammed the door behind her. Her heart was pounding profusely. She leaned against the cool concrete wall, inhaled deeply, and exhaled slowly, trying to calm herself. Good gracious, Mama gonna skin me alive, she thought to herself. What were you doing, Samantha? She asked herself. Samantha prayed briefly that her mother would be merciful and understanding, then tossed her books in her locker. As she walked up the hallway headed toward the exit door, she heard a familiar voice call her name. Samantha turned around and saw Blaine at the far end of the hallway, coming toward her at a slow trot. Her heart began to race again. As he neared, she watched his lean body easily jump over the hallway rails, one at a time. Samantha, wait up! Samantha turned her back on him and picked up her pace. Sam, wait for me. Samantha! Blaine called after her in a loud whisper. Get away from me, Blaine Pearson. Samantha, please, I know you mad at me. Mad at you? You have no idea how I feel about you. You about the sorriest excuse for a boy I ever seen in my life. How could you leave me to do all this by myself, Blaine? I hate you. I hate you. Sam, please. My name is Samantha. I'm a woman now, Blaine. Sugar, let me explain. I done told you my name is Samantha. Samantha, let me explain. Explain what? What? What could you explain to me, Blaine? How you left me alone as soon as you found out I was pregnant? How you gonna explain that? You have no excuse. Sam, I said my name is Samantha. All right, Samantha, look. Listen to me. I don't want to hear a damn thing you have to say. Keep your excuses to yourself, Blaine Pearson. Samantha pushed past him and pushed the exit door open and started walking briskly home. Blaine stared at Samantha's back and for an instant started to let her go. Shoot, I love her. I don't care what nobody say, he said, running after her. Get away from me, Blaine Pearson. No way. Now you're going to hear me out, Samantha, he said, standing directly in her path and holding her firmly in place. Boy, if you don't take your hands off of me, I'm going to know something. Get off of me. Samantha, please, listen to me. What can you possibly say to me? You left me all by myself. Samantha, I couldn't come to see you, baby. I couldn't come to see you in the open. I couldn't come to see you at night neither. My daddy would have killed me. I saw you every day though, Samantha, every day. I followed you everywhere you went to make sure you were all right. I watched my son grow in your belly, girl. I saw you every day. Samantha, if I had told my parents you were pregnant, they would have put me outdoors last winter. And what would I have done? Where would I have to go? As it is, I'm staying in the school gym underneath the bleachers. That's my home. What? Yeah, this is what I'm trying to tell you, Sam. I ain't got nowhere to go. When my daddy found out you had that baby and I was the father, Samantha, he damn near beat me an inch in my life, girl. That baby's name wasn't on the birth certificate in the courthouse. The ink wasn't dry before my daddy found out I was that baby daddy. He about killed me. I swear. I don't even remember how I got out the house and got to the school. I don't even know. I don't know how I got there. All I know is Mrs. Richardson found me and picked me up. If it wasn't for her, I don't know where I'd be or if I would even still be alive, Samantha. She got me some clothes. These clothes right here, in fact. He said, pulling at his red and white polo shirt and his jeans. She feeds me breakfast and lunch here at the school. She sneak it to me. And she bring me dinner from her very own table every night since I've been staying here. Samantha, believe me, if my parents would have known you was pregnant, you wouldn't have had no baby, girl. You wouldn't have no baby. I did what I thought was best. I was trying to protect you. I promise you I was, Samantha. Can you understand me? I swear to God, I was doing the best I could by you, by leaving you alone. Samantha fell into Blaine's arms and kissed him passionately. Oh, baby, Blaine, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I know, Samantha, but how could you doubt my love for you? How could you doubt I love you? What would make you think that I would ever leave you, girl? Ever since I laid eyes on you, you know I've been there for you. You know I love you, Samantha. I ain't got nobody but you. Nobody. My friends don't talk to me. Everybody act like I got a disease or something. My parents done turned their back on me. I ain't got nothing to offer you or that baby, Samantha. All I want to do is finish high school. That's all I want to do. This is my last year. If I can just finish high school so I can get my diploma and get out of this sorry town, hopefully I can take you and my baby with me because I got my high school diploma. That's all I need, Sam, so I can take care of you and my son. I love you, girl. Oh, my God. Bless his heart. Oh, God, Blaine, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I hear the baby crying sometime at night. Did you finally get him calmed down last night? I thought he would never stop crying. What? Samantha, ain't you heard a word I said to you? I come by your house every night, girl, hoping to see you and the baby or something. I heard him crying last night. He cried a long time. What was wrong? All y'all was in the kitchen, but I couldn't see him. Reverend Cook was holding him. You were there. You were there. Sugar, I'm always there. I'm always there. You just don't see me. Samantha, you think Miss Eve gonna let me through her door? I don't know, Blaine. She was fit to be tied when she found out you was his daddy. That's what I thought, Blaine said with his head down. Samantha grabbed Blaine by the arm. Come on, baby. Come on, where we going? Home. My baby daddy ain't staying in no school gym underneath the bleachers, peeping through windows, trying to see me and his son. But wait, come on now. My mama ain't mean like that. I know everybody thinks she mean, but she ain't. She'll know what to do. Now, come on. Boy, would you come on? Samantha said, pulling Blaine by the hand as she led him to her house. Samantha walked timidly onto the porch and took a deep breath before she opened the door. Blaine peeked around the house to see if she had gone inside yet. He called to her softly, but she waved him away and motioned for him to be quiet. Samantha entered the house. Mama, she called softly, half afraid of waking Solomon and half afraid of confronting her mother with the news that Blaine Pearson was outside. Mama! Girl, what you doing home? Already, Eve asked, coming out of the kitchen, wiping her hands on her apron. You ain't been in school but a minute. What, them kids messing with you? No, ma'am. Ain't nobody say nothing to me. Mama? Yeah? Come on, girl, spit it out. I got a pie I'm trying to put in the oven. Now, Mama, I know he ain't been around, but it's only because he was scared, Mama. He was scared. He ain't got nowhere to go. And Mama, where he at? Eve asked, looking past her daughter. Blaine Pearson, come on in here, boy. Eve walked toward the screen door and held it open. Meekly, Blaine came from around the side of the house. Come on in here, boy. I ain't gonna bother you. Come on. Come on. I was wondering how long you was gonna be ducking and dodging around my house. I declare I'm about tired of seeing you peeping in my windows. Well, come on in, boy. Blaine walked onto the porch and embraced Eve. Thank you, Miss Eve. I declare I'm so sorry I shamed you. I didn't mean to shame you or Sam. Eve held back her tears. She could feel his pain. She knew that he had had enough lectures, whippings, and tongue lashings. So she held him tightly in her arms instead. It's all gonna be all right, son. Come on inside. You welcome to stay with us. You ain't got to stay at the school gym. Come on now, come in. Blaine wiped his tears away, tucked in his shirt, and ran his fingers through his tangled hair before he walked across Eve's threshold. Wow, it's nice in here. Well, thank you. Now, Blaine Pearson, just how long did you plan on living at the school, huh? Blaine hunched his shoulders. I don't know, Miss Eve. I was just trying to stay until I graduated so I could get my diploma. I understand. You hungry? Yes, ma'am, I am. Where's the baby? Where's Solomon? He's upstairs asleep. Can I see him, Miss Eve? Yes, you may, but not before you get cleaned up. Samantha, show him to the shower and bring his clothes down so I can wash him for him real quick. Then you can see the baby. Oh, and Blaine, don't be kissing him in the mouth or on his hands. You hear me? If you want to kiss him, kiss his little feet. Yes, ma'am. I'll have your breakfast ready for you when you come out of the shower. Well, go on now. Go meet your son. Thank you, Mama, Samantha said happily as she hugged her mother. God, I love you. You are the best mom in the whole wide world. I love you so much, Mama. Samantha and Eve embraced. See, Blaine, I told you my mama would handle the situation. Samantha said proudly as she took him by the hand and led him up the stairs. Yeah, baby, you did, he said happily, following behind her. Yes, you did. Blaine finished his shower and put on the bathrobe Samantha had given him. Before he left the bathroom, he inspected it to make sure it was just as clean as the way he found it. He opened the door, inhaled the aroma of the apples cooking, and closed his eyes. He heard Samantha's voice, so he followed it down the hallway. Blaine knocked softly and opened the door slowly as he called her name. Sam, you in here? Blaine asked as he slowly opened the bedroom door. Yeah, come on in, Blaine, she said, sitting on the bed, breastfeeding her son. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll come back later. Come back later for what? Well, he said, looking away. Oh, Blaine, please. It ain't like you ain't never seen my breasts before. Yeah, but that was different. Yeah, different how? No. Tell me how different it is, she said, giggling. Oh, gone, girl, Blaine said, entering the room and softly closing the door behind him. I ain't no girl no more, Blaine Pearson. I'm a woman now. Yeah, I guess you are a woman now, huh? Yes, I am. Did it hurt? Nothing I couldn't handle. Boy, Samantha, Blaine said with amazement. Yes, you are a boy. Oh, come on, Sam. My name is Samantha. How many times I got to keep telling you that? Oh, it's okay, Solomon. Relax, relax, she said, pretending to calm a very soothed baby. Samantha, yes, you still mad at me, ain't you? I mean, even though you helping me and all, I can still tell you mad at me. Well, yes, I am. I can understand why you didn't come see me, Blaine. I understand all that now, but Samantha said tenderly, placing her son in his crib. I was scared, Samantha. And I wasn't. And I wasn't. Stop yelling. Miss Eve gonna think I'm up here doing something to you. Oh, please. You could have called me or something, Blaine. I stayed home 4 months after I had him, and you didn't even call me not one time. And I know you knew because it was all in the damn paper. Blaine sat down on the bed beside Samantha, and she got up. Oh, come on, Samantha. Cut me some slack. I said I was sorry. I know I did wrong, but I was scared. I mean, I ain't got Miss Eve for a mama. You said right off you wanted to tell her because you knew she would support you, but my daddy and mama would have put me right out then. And I told you that. Hell, as soon as my mama read it in the paper, she fainted right at the breakfast table. And that night, Daddy come through the door with a billy club. I knew they was gonna find out, Samantha. I was just hoping they wouldn't find out until after winter. That's all. Hell, it's almost springtime. I can make it outdoors now. But Sam, winter around these parts is a whole nother matter. I told you my mama would help. I know you did. I know you did, Samantha. But Eve is mean as hell. And you know it. She ain't mean. She just don't take no mess. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Was she just mean to you now? No, she wasn't. See there? Yeah, well, tell it to my mama. She hates your mama like nobody's business. Huh. I don't know why. Me neither. You forgive me, Samantha, please, Blaine asked, reaching out for her. Samantha sucked her teeth. Come here, baby love, Blaine said, holding out his hand. Come here, please. Come here, baby. Samantha rolled her eyes, exhaled deeply, and sashayed over to him. Gracious, I miss looking at you, Samantha, he said, embracing her and inhaling her scent. You all right, Samantha? Did having my baby mess you up inside? He asked, looking up at her. I'm fine, Blaine. I declare, I lied. I lied when I said the pain wasn't nothing I couldn't handle. Blaine, it was the worst thing I ever felt in my life. I can't even describe it. Sometimes I think about it and it makes me flinch. I don't even know if I want to have another baby. It hurts so bad. Blaine pulled her toward him, kissed her stomach, and embraced her. I'm sorry you had to go through that pain by yourself, baby. Is it true? Is it true he came feet first? Is it true Doc David had to cut you? Yeah, she said, sitting on his lap. I hear Camille ran and got Doc David and that she beat him back too. Is that true? Cato said he saw her jumping in and out of folks' backyards. He was trying to run behind her, but he couldn't catch her. Is it true she got back before Doc David? Blaine asked. Yeah, it's true. I declare, I swear, Blaine, when she beat him back there, I thought I was going to die for sure. I just knew he was a mile back. I knew Camille could run fast, but I didn't know it was like that. They both burst into laughter. Man, I'm telling you, I wish I could run as fast as her. Everybody around these parts do. You know, Samantha, just so you know, I thought about you every day. You was always on my mind and my heart. Samantha looked at him seriously. Okay, I thought about you too. I miss you, sugar. Your beautiful smile, all your attitude. Samantha laughed. The way you hold your head so you can't tell if your nose is really in the air or not. Your hair is so thick and pretty, but it feels like goose down. I miss your full lips, all soft and warm, he said, lightly kissing her. Is that all you missed? Did I mention the attitude? Did I mention that? Samantha chuckled. I think that was number 2. Keep going. You missed what else? I miss holding you in my arms, feeling you beside me. I miss your soft skin, your warm thighs, and your full behind. You know, I saw you one day at the Piggly Wiggly. Girl, you was wearing them jeans. I swear if I didn't know my son was in your belly, I would never been able to tell. But you was wearing them jeans, girl, like you was born in them, Blaine said, closing his eyes and reflecting back on the scene. You kept me going, me getting to see you every day. Samantha ran her fingers through Blaine's wet black hair and kissed him. You know what else I missed about you, Samantha? No. What? She asked between kisses. I miss making love to you. The most? Is that what you missed about me the most? Nah, that wasn't the most. I mean, I miss just being with you the most. I think that was the worst of it all. Not being near you. You always make me feel at peace, like home should be, like I feel right now. Yeah, that's what I miss the most about you, the way you make me feel. Mm. Now that was pretty good, Blaine. I declare it was. Yeah, that was a good cover up. Boy, let me get up off you before my mama come in here. It'd be worth it to me. What about you? Huh, boy, you on your own. I ain't messing with my mama. Look, what? If I'm gonna be here, I think I need to get a job. Yeah, yeah, that'll be good. I got you, sugar. I'll get a job. Yeah, Blaine. And when you get paid, you make sure you bring your money right here and give it to my mama so she can help us save. You know, it's important because she's the one that's been taking care of me and your son. That's the least you could do. You always supposed to pull your weight, Blaine. You gotta let folk know you appreciate what you do for them. You don't just go living off of somebody just cause you can. Shoot, you gonna be a good man. I know I fell in love with a decent man. And look at it this way. At least you won't be having to ask her for no money or for doing something for us because you have your own. I know you're right. You're right. You already got something in mind, don't you? Yeah, I do. Now, how do I know that? Blaine said with sarcasm. Well, you can look at me crazy all you want, but I'm just saying. I saw an ad in the paper the other day. Mr. Pearson is hiring. You think it'll still be there? You think the job is there? You think Mr. Benjamin will hire me? Yeah, it was there yesterday. And hell, you clean and all. Why don't you think about going down there now? Okay, but first things first. When you gonna introduce me to my son? Oh, what's his whole name? All I heard was that his name was Solomon. His name is Solomon Jalen Harrison. Jalen. Where'd you get that name from? It's different. Jolene, my baby sister, named it after her. Oh, how come he ain't got my name? Blaine, please. Come on here and hold your son. No, I don't know if I'm ready for him. I want to see him. No, you ain't gonna hurt him. Just hold his head real good, but not too tight, Blaine. Samantha picked the sleeping Solomon from the crib and placed him in his father's arms for the first time. Careful now, Blaine. Sit down and loosen up some. My goodness. Relax, Blaine. You ain't gonna break him. Blaine sat down on the bed and admired his son. He ain't gonna be dark, Samantha. Why he look like a white baby? Well, for now, I think he gonna get a little darker though. See his ears? They getting some color. They a real light brown, but he's changing every day. When he was born, his hair was so straight, but now it's done turned into these great big thick curly locks. What color are his eyes? Blaine asked, caressing Solomon's full head of hair. Right now they're green. I don't know if they're gonna stay that color though. They change all the time, like they're trying to decide just what color they gonna be. My pa has green eyes. He's a good looking boy, Samantha. Here, you go on and take him back. He moving too much. That's cause he knows you're nervous. He can feel your nervousness. At that moment, Eve knocked on the door. Come on in, Mama. Eve entered the room and smiled, seeing Blaine holding his son. Breakfast is ready. Y'all come on down and eat. Blaine, your clothes are out hanging on the line drying. Thank you, Miss Eve. You mind if I eat later? Later? Yes, ma'am. I'm thinking, well, me and Samantha been talking and we decided that I need to get a job and help out. I'm going to go on down to the mill and see if Mr. Benjamin will give me a job. Well, that's mighty good of you, Blaine, but you don't have to do that. Samantha put her hands on her little hips and looked at her mother as if something were wrong with her. Mama, what you mean? Now hold your horses, child. I meant to say that I already spoke to Mr. Benjamin, and he said you should report to work tomorrow when you get out of school. Says he knows you would be a mighty fine worker. Really, Miss Eve? You did that for me? Yes, I did. And yes, he did say that. But you still have to go to school, Blaine. I ain't having no dummies hanging around my house. Now come on downstairs and eat while it's hot. I made some omelets, cheese grits, toast, and some cooked apples. Boy, Miss Eve, that smells real good. Well, it is. Now come on, the both of you. Thank you, Miss Eve. I wish my mama was like you. She does too, Eve thought to herself. You're welcome, baby. Can I take Solomon with me? Help yourself. May as well get used to carrying that boy. You're going to be carrying that child for the rest of your life. Well, that is the conclusions of chapters 3 and 4. And on Tuesday, I will be coming back to you at 7 o'clock to read chapters 5 and 6. And so I would like to remind those who are interested, and I thank you so much for the wonderful, wonderful feedback from people with your book clubs. And so, Letters, wonderful, wonderful book. Deja Vu Desires, yes, yes. And Cousins are book club books, because these books are just a tad bit more spicy, tad bit more juicy in detail. So I won't be reading those books live. So Them's Daughters will be the last book for live readings. Well, for live readings publicly. And then, of course, the first book I read out was Angel Fire. You can still pick this up. And if you go to my website, www.nubianromance.com, you can get each book in paperback as well as Kindle. And I would like for you to please share. The person who has the most shares will be receiving their personal autographed copy of Them's Daughters. Look at that. Look at that. So now here we see the wonderful, wonderful Reverend Cook with Eve laying her head on his shoulder. But again, there go Don Paul in her mind. And here's little Jolene down here, always in prayer for her family. So it's very, very good, very, very juicy. And so if you could please, you have any more friends or anyone else who would like to have private readings, then just inbox me, message me like you've been doing. And of course, the leader of the book club who's gathering all of the people for the group, you will be the one to receive the personally autographed copy of the book. So if you have 5 and above members, they place their order, let me know, and I will send you your book, and then we will set a date and time for me to come on to read live for you. And if you could please go to my YouTube channel, Nubian Romance Novels, and subscribe, because if you're ever out and about, or if you're just rolling around on YouTube, all of the videos are out there. And I want to thank you so, so much for coming. Thank you for coming. You didn't have to, but you did anyway. And I would like to thank Imani Upshur, my beautiful, beautiful student. Thank you, Imani, for your support. And Miss Michelle, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you all on Tuesday. And again, please know, I don't think you're tuning in or coming back. If you can't come at 7 to see the videos, I don't take it lightly at all. You all be safe out there. Let's continue our social distance and stay in prayer for our first responders. So, so important. I think it's just, really important. I have a niece who is a first responder, Nubia, and so we keep her in prayer. And I love you all. Take care. Be safe out there. I'll see you at Tuesday at 7 for chapters 5 and 6. Peace.